Hello, welcome to Lady Vinyl Gaming. Welcome back to Story Hour, where I read a text-based game or play a text-based game. Uh, it is very similar to a Choose Your Own Adventure book, essentially. What you'll see on the screen is the game itself, and it's scroll along or not along, but uh, reading what's on the screen. I try and do different voices for each of the characters, and make the decisions based on how I want to play the character. So it's like any other game. Um, it is not an action-based game though, so this is very different than my Sunday games. But it's fun, it's relaxing. So I invite you very much to grab something good to drink, grab a snack, kick back, and just relax. If you do enjoy my content, there is also the Sunday 1:05 p.m. Stream. Right now we're playing Dragon Age Origins. Hopefully that continues to stay working. We'll see how that goes. I also stream along with other gamers, mostly uh, Seth, it's Devo. Sometimes I join Ruff when he does Fortnite. There's also Mel G, um, and a few others whenever I get a chance. So you're also more than welcome to join me there. If you do enjoy this, and this may be your first time watching, or you just don't remember what had happened beforehand, this will show up on the YouTube channel. Shadows of New York, whatever story hour. I try to remember to upload within the week. I'm not always great with that. The Sunday stream, though, does almost always post to YouTube the day after. So you're more than welcome to catch stuff there. You're also more than welcome to follow me on OnlyFans. There's a lot more of me visible for those streams. But whatever's your taste. So, last time we were playing Shadows of New York, we had been finding out that our character is not being well treated by the Primogens and leaders of New York, but she has been given the job of uh, finding out who had killed the leader of the Anarchs. So let's get into it. As I already told Katir, and numerous times at that, I have no idea what happened with Agathon. The Broadway Chantry, part of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, is Asling's usual hangout place these past few nights. She's in a hurry and not willing to talk. Do you have any idea about his connection to Kindred, going by the names of Tamika, D'Angelo, and Hope? I don't know. I made it a point to keep our relationship strictly professional. To make it a point to keep our relationship strictly professional. A strictly professional one, and never meddled in his personal affairs, unless they influenced our work, that is, but it only happened one time. Ah, yes, the infamous Juno case. Could that Juno case be the reason he's missing? I seriously doubt it, for many reasons. I think the boy's lost his appetite for studying blood magic and set out to do a little soul searching. It was quite rude of him not to give me a proper warning before he departed. Still, this line of work is not particularly favored by folks with a perfect grasp of savoir-vivre. I do hope his search will bring him back right where he has started begging me to take him back in. The boy is talented, and he had put a lot of time into mentoring him. If he doesn't, well, que sera, sera, no skin off my back. So you won't even entertain a possibility that he found himself in harm's way? I know an answer to that one. A researcher's mindset. She doesn't think it's worth considering the worst case scenario seriously and just takes things as they come. Precisely. If, for example, climate change scientists didn't operate this way, most would have put a bullet in their own head long ago. That's a cheery thought. I'd like to search the chantry for Agathon's whereabouts. Our good sheriff did that long ago. You'd just be wasting your time, and ours for that matter. Didn't you say Helene was waiting for us, Kadir? Give the girl 15 minutes, Aisling. A minimal support for an ongoing investigation. And besides, she has a proclivity for finding things everyone else has overlooked. Shh. 10 minutes, and if you attempt to pass this door or that one up there, I can't guarantee you'll walk out of here alive. Thank you very much, High Regent. Just get on with it. My time here is practically up, and I have found nothing of use. It seems Agathon was completely dedicated to his work. Even his personal quarters are as barren as it gets. No personal touch whatsoever. Nothing I could go by. It's all research, research, research. He seems like such a bore. Focus, Julia. What would you do if you were a warlock workaholic? Where would you leave clues to your whereabouts? What would you do if you found yourself in mortal danger and wanted Dakota to know? It's loose. Was that? Yeah. It was facing this way, huh? I approached the place where I saw the shadowy silhouette appear. It's a brick wall, and one of the bricks is loose. Kadir and Aisling are in another room right now, still discussing the party. It's not that bad. You ought to learn how to find humor in the little things. It's demeaning, Sheriff. That's all there's to it. It's time. I work the brick loose until I can grip it. Then, I tug it as silently as possible, revealing a hole in the wall. Inside, there's a book. I browse through it quickly. Agathon's diary. That's a bingo. Your 10 minutes are up. So are your 15 minutes, in fact. Are you done here? If I could just get 5 more minutes, I still feel like I could stumble upon something here if I just look a little more. No way, Julia. Time to go. Fine. I put the brick back and take the diary with me. It did look like Agathon left it, so that someone in the chantry could find it, presumably the High Regent. But my investigation takes priority for now. I bid Kadir and Aisling adieu and start looking for a secluded place to read the diary. This place right here should be secluded enough for me to browse through the diary in peace. I start quickly skimming the book, singling out sentences and paragraphs that look particularly interesting, trying to get a general idea of what kind of person Agathon was. Or is, I hope. The more I read, the clearer the image of the person becomes. He's been working under the High Regent for 15 years. There's an underlying shame in the way he talks about Tremere magic. He always describes himself as too slow on the uptake, too late to learn something, too much of an amateur. He was really into tying his self-worth to his wisdom. The entries, beginning in 2012, are terrifyingly regular. The handwriting is extraordinarily neat. The author's absolute dedication to his studies is palpable. Hi to you too, Vamp Kitty. If there's anything to his own life besides work, it's his relationships with the 3 important women he holds dear. The first is his master, Aisling Sturbridge, whom he reveres for her knowledge, stoicism, and willingness to experiment. I was hoping to find some details about her secretive work here, but no dice. Looks like he was willing to risk someone finding all about his inner life, but not anything that could harm her studies. A good pupil, serving a good mentor. I'm jealous. The second is another warlock, his ex-lover, Juno, whom he feels guilty about. They had a conflict in which Asling was involved, having to choose between the two. He chose Asling. According to Agathon, there was never real love between him and Juno. First, it was just shared interests, then a growing disconnect, and ultimately, guilt, which made him feel responsible for her. But maybe it's just excuses. He strikes me as the kind of person who spends most of his time inside his head. Doesn't sound like someone you could have a fulfilling romance with. One day, Dakota might realize this. Anyway, last but not least, Agathon's mortal grandmother, Sylvia. She is the light of his life, and the person who took care of him after his parents died in a ritual murder. Not quite what I expected. Her family used to serve a cruel vampire in Mexico City, and it was a retribution for their escape. She was the lead Tremere used to track him down, actually. He was keeping her alive for a long time, but a few months ago, her heart gave up. Agathon blamed his insufficient skills, the kind of man who carries the entire world on his shoulders. Left alone with Asling, he drowned himself in work and eventually burned out. But it doesn't sound like Sylvia's death was the only event that triggered his depression spiral. There was some kind of incident back in 2019. He doesn't cite specifics. Another thing he was worried about writing down? It's all vague mentions of a person who made him fly too close to the sun. Whatever happened, it had the same effect as his grandmother's death. New York stopped feeling like a home to him. It became alien, empty, grotesque. His words. I checked the first page. There's a recent photograph of him glued to the inner side of the cover. He's facing away from the camera, only showing his profile and striking a rather dramatic pose. At first, it looks kind of poserish to me. However, upon closer inspection, it seems like a goodbye photo. The final melancholic glance he throws in your direction before disappearing for good. There's also a single black feather. No idea what it means. Something's written next to the photograph with a lot of flourish. It looks like a poem? More than annoyed, sad. More than sad, unhappy. More than unhappy, suffering. More than suffering, abandoned. More than abandoned, alone in the world. More than alone, exiled. More than exiled, dead. More than dead, forgotten. The Sedative, 1917, by Marie Laurencin. I don't know if I pronounced that right or not. Sorry, Marie. Looks like he wrote it down recently. It might have resonated with his emotional state over the past few months. Most importantly, it seems to confirm his intent with his diary to me. The general idea seems to be his research will outlive him, so he doesn't even detail it. Still, he wanted some kind of tangible memory of who he was left for posterity. But that's not all. There's still a mystery to be solved. Quite a few of the pages toward the end are missing, but it doesn't look like they were necessarily removed to redact information. They were torn in a way that makes it clear the paper wasn't even used. What's more, the preceding pages are empty as well. Could it be that that's when it happens again? I notice a bizarre shape in my peripheral vision. Blade. I turn to catch a glimpse as fast as possible, but it's already gone. If my heart could beat faster right now, it would be jumping out of my chest. It's discomforting. I've been seeing these apparitions ever since I turned into this. The worst part is, I feel they were always there. Even as a mortal, they were there sometimes in the corner of my eyes, disappearing when I tried to look directly at them, making me think it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But when you're part of the Night Clan, there are times they don't disappear. There are times they talk. There are times they try to force you to do their bidding. And worst of all, no, I don't want to think about it right now. Still, in my experience, they aren't exactly, consciously malevolent. This one in particular was trying to help. I open the book on the first empty page and look around to make sure nobody is staring. Then I cut myself using a razor I keep in my pocket just in case. It's not a deep slice. I just want to let a droplet of Vita fall onto the page. That's when the letters appear. Look at me, you trick clown. No longer confident that any of my people can be trusted. I turned to a effing spick, a Camarilla spick at that. What are you winged for, boy? Laugh at me. Ridicule is all I deserve. Come on, don't stand there like an idiot. You want to say something? Say it. What the hell? This is the last thing I expected to happen. This diary is haunted. A series of quick changing sentences and images composed of shadows and blood give me a window into another reality. It's not an objective view. It's like scattered remnants of emotions, similar to a half-remembered dream, full of holes, but an honest expression of one's mind. Might it be interacting with me? It's just a hypothesis, but I don't know why else it would show me Callahan. And was that Ellis Island? Right. This time, I don't even look in its direction. The voice makes me feel oddly confident about what I need to do. I pick up the feather that was in the diary and dip it in my Vita. Then I write down, let's try compassion. You may call me whatever names you want. I'll still pity you, old man. Well, ain't that grand of you? I see what you are. In some ways, compassion for the likes of me is probably the worst gift you could get. Feeling of having hit the jackpot. It doesn't feel like this is the way these events took place. It's more like a way to explore Agathon's emotional truth about the way it all unfolded. In any case, the diary is reacting to me, and some shade of the truth is better than nothing. It's a handy tool, and if I use it right, I might find some clues that could aid me in my investigation. There are a few thoughts floating around in my head, like alien entities trying to make their way out. Is that also an effect of the diary's power? Let's try. I'm curious, what's the destiny you see in front of you? There are two paths I see laid out in front of me. The first one is freedom, bought with a horrible price. One is utterly and complete disbasement. But you haven't decided on one of these paths yet. No, but the choice has already been made for me. God damn it. What are the two of you talking about? Why did you meet? Why'd you pick this place to meet anyway? It's secluded, and there's something in the air here that makes all the blood magic go haywire, which is especially important. Because of me? You're still afraid I might be part of the experiment? No, of that devil woman. Blood running cold. All the scribblings disappear, and another set starts taking their place. The diary conjures an image of a completely different place. I instantly get the feeling of déjà vu. I process the space differently. The atmosphere is different, more familiar, homely. But this is unmistakably the Tremere Chantry I visited earlier tonight. And standing there is just the person I'd expect. Looks like that's it for my meeting with Callahan. God damn it. But what if the person he was talking about and eliciting a strong emotional reaction from was Asling? The diary awaits my next command. High Regent, why? Why? You can't be serious. These experiments need resources, and I wouldn't be able to provide all the needed materials in a reasonable time frame all by myself. It's quid pro quo, and it's not like my research isn't helping all kindred in a gun run. I don't feel comfortable being a... Wait, that's not the voice. I don't feel comfortable being a part of this at all. I always thought we were busy with science, not politics. These are the words of a child, Agatha. Science has always relied on politics, and politics on science. Not like this, High Regent. Don't embarrass me, Agathon. Not like this. The moving scribblings disappear again. I hastily let another drop of blood fall on the page. What appears this time is yet another familiar face. Why, yes, Agathon. What is it that you wanted to tell me? You goddamn rat. I beg your pardon. The harpy vanishes. You're right, as if I could ever gather courage to say this to your face. But the least I can do is try and stab you in the back. The diary ends here. I spill a little more Vita on the page, but it no longer works. I suppose that's it. Still no idea what happened to Agathon. Is he alive, or is he dead? Maybe Dakota is right. I've been a glass half-empty buzzkill too often. I will brace for the worst, but hope for the best. The way he left his diary for someone to carry on his work, the hints he strategically left inside, he's got all this planned out, no doubt about it. I choose to believe I will see him again one night. Maybe I'll even compliment that jacket he has. In any case, I think it's time to pay a visit to the art hole. I know Arturo tends to leave the Elysium quite often to take in some fresh air and message people on his BlackBerry, so I just wait until I see him. The tactic works. He's surprised to see me. Miss Swinzinski, shouldn't you be busy with your investigation? I am, actually, which is why I've come to see you. That's peculiar, because I'm absolutely sure I have nothing to do with this case. Aren't you barking up the wrong tree? That's what I'm here to find out. I assumed you'd want to see I'm thorough. Yes, sure, I suppose it's commendable. What is it, then? I have reasons to believe that in the last few months you, the High Regent Asling Sturbridge, and her child Agathon were involved in a secretive scheme. His expression changes ever so imperceptibly, but the difference is palpable to me. For the first time ever, he looks at me as a person. Up until now, I was just an amusing diversion. Now, I'm something more. And he doesn't like it. What gave you this idea? I'm not at liberty to say. If you really want to know, ask the sheriff. Of course, Kadir doesn't know anything, but he's the only one in the court that Arturo has repeatedly failed to influence. He'll think twice before approaching him. I fail to see how this matter relates to the task at hand. I have every reason to think Baron Callahan was involved, and that he might have had grounds to fear for his life because of said scheme. He's tense now. Do I have the upper hand? Miss Swaninsky, please answer the question. The delicate matter you are speaking of has absolutely nothing to do with Baron Callahan's grim fate. It's a strictly confidential affair. It would be wise of you to stop pursuing it. It would be wise of you to fuck off. I can't be an investigator if I'm not allowed to properly investigate. This matter is unrelated to your work and should be treated as such. I'm 100% convinced Prince Panhard would agree. If you insist on pursuing it further, we can take it up to the prince and see if her stance differs than mine. But I think you aren't as naive to waste her time this way. And besides, she'd certainly want you to present the basis for your discovery to the court. Could you handle it? I have no response, goddammit. This is his revenge for invoking Kadir, isn't it? I thought so. Is the High Regent inside? She is, but don't worry, I'll make sure to tell her not to waste your precious time, Miss Wasinski. So that's how you're gonna play it, you bastard. Well, I guess you win this round. A strategic retreat is my only choice here. I don't have a full deck of cards yet, but just you wait. In a few nights. I'll take my leave then. Yes, do that, and if I may be so blunt, focus on the investigation avenues that aren't utterly imbecilic and suicidal to pursue, miss. I bid you adieu. I curse him out under my breath as he disappears inside the art hole. I guess this avenue really is cut off for me. At least, for now. 3 names left on the list. I still have some leads to go by, but for now, it's getting late. I should go to St. Patrick's and file my latest report. When I reach the cathedral, Father Leonard is already there. He's not exactly the most punctual person, so I always feel relieved to see him from afar. Time to move in and move out before I'm noticed by Benoit. Will this be all? I guess so. I rattled off most of it in a hurry on the way here. I'll come up with a more exhaustive report tomorrow night. Busy? Looks that way, Father. Our wayward girl has finally been recognized by her superiors. Here we go again. Of course he has to sneak up on me. If you even heard about If even you heard about that, I guess that means every single kindred in the 5 boroughs knows. I know you're an expert when it comes to looking... Wow, my reading skills today, not the best. I know you're an expert when it comes to knowing who's saying what and where, but the last time we met, you promised to share that knowledge with me. Yeah, I was kind of lying. That's the 9th commandment broken, Father. Shouldn't you scold her? Don't involve me in your silly games, Benoit. The way you fall for obvious lies stems from your biggest failing of communication. And that is? You only pay attention to the what that's being said, and not the how. That's... Booyah, motherfucker. Shut it. Annihilated with an absolutely flawless diagnosis. Child, don't make me regret siding with you. I'm sorry, Father. Won't happen again, especially if you promise to keep verbally destroying that clown. You're in a strange mood tonight, child. Go get some sleep. Yes, we'll continue this tomorrow. I'm not showing up here tomorrow. Yes, you are. Stop breaking the 9th commandment. See you around, Julia. He says my name in a sickly sweet way that gives me the creeps. I bow to Father Leonard, do my best to ignore Benoit, and head for Dakota's place. Finally, my haven. Hey! Hey, another tough night? You don't know the half of it. You want a drink? She points to her neck. I manage to summon a faint smile. I'd love to, but we can't do this too often. Maybe tomorrow. You want to talk then? Yeah, guess so. Just not about work, okay? I sit down next to her. Not about work. Got it. What's on your mind then? The past, I guess. Meaning? How spotty our memories are. And how, despite that, that's what we build our convictions on. Sorry, it's so banal. I'm just tired and frustrated. Well, let's talk about something more specific then. What do you remember about the time we first met? The time we first met? Yeah. Shit. Not a lot, actually. Those were gloomy, anxious days. I think I subconsciously replaced most of them with blank spaces. I remember you trying to paint your hair black. Ouch! Don't dig up my trauma now, okay? I remember that when we first talked, we talked about Hasu. Don't say Hasu. It's low-key racist, I think. Not everybody knows what you mean by house. That's show with the asshole doctor? No, the Japanese haunted house horror film that feels like it was written by a 7-year-old with ADHD. In the best way. In the best way, duh. We were arguing which characters from the movie both of us are. You were Kung Fu, and I ended up as Prof, which was rude. You were dressed like a total nerd, not my fault. What was the deal with that suit? I liked that suit. Yeah, it was okay. I remember helping you out with graphic design whenever you needed it. Funny, I remember you needing help with writing as something that tended to happen far more often. Yeah, we developed a fun shared aesthetic with similar surface concerns, and it bonded us together, even before we made sure we were fully compatible deep down as human beings. Hell, I'm still not even sure we are, especially now with me not being a human being anymore. But hey, at least we both agree that this bedroom feels super comfy. I remember always feeling left out of your social circles. Always knocking at the door from the outside. Oh, forget it. My social circles were full of out-of-touch snobby assholes. Yeah, but it felt weird how much they avoided me. And there was that one time with Isabella. All of a sudden, One thing Isabella said at that one party flashes in my mind with startling clarity. After midnight, in that kitchen, without context, she just walked up to me and, "She will isolate you. She will suck you dry, and she'll move on to the next target. That's the only thing she knows." Don't remind me of Isabella. She always resented me. It's been so long, and it's all baseless conjecture now. But what if she really did isolate me on purpose back then? Nah, the glass is half full. The past is Schrodinger's cat and all that. Better to believe in the positive version of events. Come to think of it, friend or foe, if you don't believe they're on your side, they will know it one way or the other, and then it's 100% certain they won't be on your side. Maybe optimism really is the way. Yeah, forget Isabella. Let's just drop this talk. I'm frustrated enough. I need a rest. Sounds like a good idea. Off to sleep? Yeah, gotta get ready to go back to hell tomorrow. Alright, I'll get back to work. You're working remotely again? Yeah, my office is going insane for so many reasons, and I'm getting cabin fever too. Get some sun. It'll be good for you. Look who's talking. Good night, sunshine. Good night. A few minutes after I wake, I see a message slipped under the apartment's front door. Kadir? Yup. Looks like you got a short window to meet me in Queens a few hours from now. Willets Point. A single suggestion. Get ready for action. Fine, then I will. Best way to do it would be to clear my mind. Just walk without thinking. Reset the framework. Some fresh air should do it. Maybe a chance meeting with someone could get me out of this mental rut. Let me look at the world from a different angle for a while and improve my mood. Although, when it comes to improving one's mood, nothing beats some crimson red pouring down my throat. Not to mention, these cigarettes taste better with a full stomach. Let's go. Hide and seek for dummies. I'm being tailed. The last thing I need right now is a weirdo stalker following me every step. Did I take this investigation too far down the rabbit hole? Or that's my table. There's no place like home, and I need a little peace. Big Beat Burger, here I come. But wait, who is this loon? We're gonna deal with this weirdo stalker first. I'm sure there are better ways of finding solitude than wandering aimlessly in this endless downpour. There are nights when I dive straight into a fizzed crowd and vicariously enjoy their sweet, their hypnotic moves, and mindless self-indulgence. When my body starts to resonate with the relentless wall of sound, everyone disappears, and I'm raptured into a perfect kind of isolation. Then there are those nights when I crash on the couch while Dakota goes on a rant about something so far removed from my area of interest, I zone out and enjoy the privacy of my own thoughts. But then there are moments like this one, nights when I just want everyone to shut the fuck up so I can think. Those nights, I usually end up mindlessly strolling along the rain-swept streets, before inevitably ending up at Big Beat Burger, or at least that used to be the norm, before this whole mess. Lately, even that kind of solitude seems out of my reach, especially when I'm being tailed by a poor man's Ethan Hunt on a crash diet. He's been following me for 10 minutes, and so far has managed to bump into an empty newsstand, make enemies of several cab drivers, and even got bitch slapped by a living statue while trying to blend in. As he shortens the distance, I grab a nearby lamppost and swing myself around like Gene Kelly, using the momentum to quickly turn around and look right at him. Oh, hell nah. He springs up into the nearest alley. I wonder if he thinks that somehow I did not notice. A minute of silence. He must have given up. I'm about to walk away when an obnoxious voice, not belonging to that creep, catches my ear. It's coming from the same alley. It's followed by a loud crash from sounds like the metal side of a garbage dumpster, followed by a painful moan. Maybe the stalker got himself in trouble. I should let that creep deal with this himself. I should, but I won't. Can't have a moment's rest in this goddamn city, can I? As I barge into the alley, I notice two hooded jocks bullying my scrawny stalker. While the big guy wrestles with a high-tech smartphone, the sleeker one keeps punching. How nice of them to share responsibilities. With the exception of a single lamp flickering over the stalker's head, the alley is dim enough for me to keep the shadows unnoticed. As I creep up on the roughneck, an eerie sensation slowly overwhelms my senses, like drowning, but without the feeling of suffocation. It's calling me softly from the limitless black and bleak, and between one step and the next, I realize that I'm unrecognizable, completely enveloped in darkness. You still don't understand it, whatever it is, the negative Nancy in my head warns. Maybe, but I know I can blend it to my will. In the blink of an eye, I emerge from the shadows, backed up by the sound of unnerved clicking and unintelligent whispers. He takes off like a turbocharged RC car, bumping into every single trash can before eventually jumping out of the alley. As the gloom settles, I turn my head looking for the short goon, but he is long gone. I pick up the peculiar smartphone on my way over to the stalker. It doesn't take a genius to figure out it belongs to him. The screen is locked and glitches oddly as soon as I touch it. No surprises there. The stalker seems relieved, but at the same time unnerved by the fact I'm holding his property. He tries to exhibit some confidence, but his trembling voice undermines the effect. Listen, I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything, but I'd like that back. It's not like you can use it anyway, right? The nervous smirk on his already punchable face kind of makes me wish I'd left him to his own devices. I'm of two minds about handing over something I could use to gain leverage over the sleazy asshole who's been stalking me for God knows how long. This yours? Yeah, I'd like it back. You would, wouldn't you? Here's the deal. You start talking, and I don't crush this thing to pieces. Give it back, or... I give the phone a little squeeze and show the slightly deformed case to the pockmarked guy. You were saying? Okay, you got me. I'm cornered, yeah? So I'll talk. Just throw me the phone, please. He sounds pretty desperate. Fine. It's not like he's gonna go anywhere without my consent at this point. And if he tries to start some shit, the smartphone goes back into my hand and under my heel. There you go. He catches the phone with the liveliness of a little boy getting his first video game console. Thanks, Jules. I really appreciate that. He knows my name and makes a point of bragging about it. Not particularly subtle. Why the fuck are you following me? Are you with the Camarilla? Did somebody tell you to watch my steps? He looks confused when I mention the sect's name. I realize after the fact it was probably a really stupid thing to say to a random creep. Not sure what a Camarilla is? Sounds tasty, but my boss, he's an important guy. You want to be on his good side, let me tell you. That said, he doesn't tell me anything I don't need to know, and all I know is he wanted me to keep an eye on you tonight. Something something, you're being watched, something something, powerful friends. That's the best you've got? You're not getting anything else from me. If you want to finish what those alley rats started, go ahead, but you'll be wasting your time, Jules. The loser seems to brace for a hit, contorting his face into a confusing grimace, which was probably meant to express bravado. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. Fair enough, but call me Jules again, and this time when you lose your phone, you'll need a proctologist to help you find it. Kinky, ain't you? I'll see you later. You won't if you know what's good for you. He doesn't respond. As he limps away, I realize that the rain is slowly letting up, and that once more I'm left with more questions than answers. C'est le refrain de ma vie. I can't do French accents. That's why you don't hear me doing one. I actually almost failed French in junior high. I decided to get on with my night and focus on the relief that comes with realizing I'm not the voyeuristic object of some creep's interest. Been there, done that, wouldn't recommend. Time to get a move on. It's time to get back to work. I step inside the headway and head for my meeting with Kadir. Oh, for fuck's sake, I thought you were kidding. Nope, I couldn't reach her, but I know for a fact Hope is there. He's pointing in the direction of a double spiral building. And what is she doing there? I understand she's the current leader of the company, acting CEO to be exact. No, you're pulling my leg. Of all the places in this city, the company that brags about creating IT solutions for the future, always surrounded by rumors of monstrous workers' abuse, all sorts of ethical violations, trading information with government secrets, and ending the career of certain promising journalists and professional fuck-up who attempted to investigate them seriously. You might be able to ask her both professional and personal questions. 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't get it. Last time I checked, the company belonged to Kara Montgomery. I'm told she quietly took a sabbatical a few months ago, and I'm sure it sure looks like the kind of sabbatical you don't come back from. Corporate backstabbing? Not a single corporate shark is as good at drawing blood as a patrician kindred. Pretty sure there are bigger powers involved. I remember I was shocked when I first learned that one of my nemesis back in my old life was a vampire all along. When I realized her position made her untouchable to me, I was beyond mad. Well, whatever happened, it couldn't have happened to a nicer person. What about her brother Jesse? You're asking me? Last I checked, you were the expert on this company. I just handle the basic intel for you, even though I shouldn't even really be here. Yeah, and I hope you realize I am grateful. You better be. So is Hope just another corporate shark? Well, she is the child of Carter. A theatrical pause. He smiles as he sees me wince. But very much unlike him. He took her in for her particular multifaceted talents related to the internet, knowing he's hopelessly behind the times in that regard. I hear she's been unruly, though. Well, unruly is good. I can work with unruly. So you're telling me she might not be a stuck-up startup bitch? Language. As I've told you a few times now, when it comes to the internet, just assume I haven't the slightest idea. I'm getting there myself. I haven't been able to check my email for 5 months. I have no idea what kind of... I have no idea what the kids at BBB are talking about most of the time. Oh my god, I might be getting old. Don't worry. The moment you realize you don't give a damn about most fads you wouldn't have cared about years ago is a liberating one. Been there, done that. The beginning of the 20th century. Old. Anyway, you'd probably hear Hope's story straight from the horse's mouth. I don't have much time, so I'll get straight to the point. You shouldn't be looking at anything in the main building. It's just a front. Ignore it. What you want to do is use the elevators to get to the lowest floor of the building. Psh. I heard stories about the double spiral basement, but I have no idea what to make of them. Every source told me a different rumor. Did any of them tell you a rumor about an army of underground ghouls? No, but I'm all ears. Double Spiral employs an army of ghouls as a cheap workforce. They work and live underground, away from prying eyes, with lesser rights than regular kind employees. Perfect for business. Wow. I'm actually speechless for a second. I had profoundly low expectations at the company, but every time I learned something new about what's going on behind the scenes, I'm still surprised at the level of scumbaggery at play. I'll leave the moral judgments to you, expert. In any case, you need to reach room number 507, where the CEO supposedly resides. And then, get Hope to answer your questions. His old-timey flip phone vibrates. Speaking of, if you got any left for me, it's now or never. I'm needed at the art hole now. How's the security? Ah, yes, good question. As far as I know, it's cameras, body heat sensors, and some electronic locks. Sounds like with some luck I might manage to infiltrate the building as nothing but a glitch in the system. A glitch might still provoke an investigation, so be careful. It is rare that our curses turn into blessings. When it seems they have, it's usually a trap. I will keep that in mind. Keep your eyes peeled for the ghouls. The phone vibrates again. Well, that's it for me. Arturo is pestering me to show up at the Elysium 5 minutes ago. Tell him I kindly suggest he should go fuck himself. Not in 1,000 years. Well, good luck with your mission, soldier. With a mock salute, he disappears inside his car and drives away. Nothing left for me but to head in. Still, I'm anxious. And that seems like a good place to leave our story for tonight. I again invite you to join me next week for another episode of Story Hour. This should join the playlist on YouTube sometime before then if you'd like to go through a recap. And that's about it for me tonight. So have a good day, y'all.